Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hashtag Sports and welcome to another edition, a Week 11 edition of Razor Sharp Picks. Want to completely forget about Week 10, guys. I'm not going to lie. Against the spread, we did really good. 10-4 against the spread. But straight up, 6-8. We could do better than that. Before we get into my picks this week, I'll remind everyone that Hashtag Sports is sponsored by Mr. Rogers Home in association with DeanBlendell.com. Also, Hashtag 22 charity is the Williams Syndrome Foundation. So make sure that you guys, if you want, donate however you want to do that. A super chat when we're live. I will be live this Sunday for the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Cleveland Browns. No matter where it's located, where it's played, it might be a snow game, might be played. If it's played at a different time, I'll be here for that time as well. At least I'll do my best to be here for that time as well. So again, thank you to Mr. Rogers Homes, and also thank you to you guys for donating completely throughout this regular season to the Williams Syndrome Foundation. But as I said, not a great week for my picks. So we come into Week 11, the last week for buys in the NFL. Next week's Thanksgiving. And again, join me live Thanksgiving, Detroit versus Buffalo. I'll be here whenever the game is. I think it's 12:30 game. I'll be here live. So make sure you join me. Enjoy your Thanksgiving and maybe hang out with Bills Mafia for just a little bit as we hopefully beat Cleveland this Sunday and then go on and beat the Detroit Lions the following Thursday. Would be a great Thanksgiving treat. However, before we get there, we have to get into Week 11. Like I said, Week 10 was not a good week, so I kind of want to put it in the rear-view mirror. Forget about it, as they say. So we're going to start Week 11 off with the game between the Green Bay Packers and the Tennessee Titans. The Green Bay Packers coming off a big win last week against the Dallas Cowboys. Can they get the ship rightened, right? Is it too late after a 5-game losing streak to kind of think that they still have a chance to make the playoffs? If you look at the records in the NFC, there are still some possibilities where records are up for grabs. I don't think they're going to catch Minnesota, so their only shot would be wild card, but maybe they could sneak in there. But starts with the Tennessee Titans. Now, the good thing about them for this Thursday night game in Green Bay, coming off that momentum, can they get a victory? A lot of people are saying they are 3-point favorites at home. But what do we know about spreads? What do we know about spreads? When Vegas sets a spread, they give the home team 3 points. So Vegas is saying this is a very even matchup, and I agree. I think this is a very even matchup between a consistently good team in the Tennessee Titans and a team that has shown promise in the Green Bay Packers. So what is going to happen this Thursday night? And I think that there's too much consistency on one side and too much unknown on the other, right? You look at the Tennessee Titans over the past few weeks. Yeah, they lost to Kansas City, but everyone does, except for the Buffalo Bills, who then go on to lose to other teams for some odd reason. But still, everyone's losing to Kansas City. The Titans, other than that, played really well over the last few weeks, okay? They got that running game going, which is kind of a strength of the Packers defense, right? So what can Tannehill, his second week back, what can he do? We all know that Tennessee lacks in wide receiver depth, right? They don't have that knockout punch at wide receiver this season. Can they get enough offense going? For the Packers, we saw Watkins just had a huge game against the Dallas Cowboys. Can he continue that in the upcoming weeks? We know that Aaron Rodgers is leaning on him, learning to trust him a little bit more every single week. I like what Green Bay did last week, but again, not showing consistency yet. Coming off a 5-game losing streak before they won that game against Dallas last week. Give me the Titans to win this game. That means I have the Titans beating a 3-point spread. This goes completely against how I normally feel about Thursday night football games. I normally really like the home squad on Thursday night, given the short week. But I like the Titans in this matchup. Give me the Titans to win, the Titans to beat a 3-point spread. Going to Sunday, we have the Eagles going into Indianapolis, playing the Colts. Jeff Saturday, interim head coach, getting his first win in his first game as a head coach. The Eagles, speaking of firsts, getting their first loss on Monday night. So this game's all about how do the Eagles respond, right? How does Jalen Hurts, how does this team respond? Brown had a bad game on Monday. A lot of players for the Eagles had bad games on Monday. Can they turn it around and get back to their winning ways quickly? Because even though Dallas lost, you still have the Giants nipping at your heels. I like the Eagles in this matchup. Now it's plus 6.5, right? So that's a big number to cover against a decent Colts team who's playing with a little chip on their shoulder. But there's been a lot of news and controversy surrounding Jeff Saturday already in the press. And I wonder how that affects the team going into a big matchup like going against the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me the Eagles to win this matchup. Give me the Eagles to bounce back. Give me the Eagles to cover a 6.5-point spread. Going to New Orleans, where the Rams, who I just heard are going to get Matthew Stafford back this week, go into New Orleans to play the New Orleans Saints, who are currently 4.5-point favorites. Listen, Matthew Stafford's back, but the best wide receiver in the game, possibly Cooper Kupp, won't be in there. High ankle sprain for Cooper Kupp. I like what Matthew Stafford could do for this team. Our savvy veteran type guy, right? Who can really change a ball game just because of his knowledge of the game. Now, when I wrote down these numbers, the Saints were favored by 4.5, but that's before we got the Matthew Stafford news. So I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are now. It still might be 4.5. I'll definitely have to check that. But with Matthew Stafford playing, I feel like McVay can get something done on offense, right? So give me the Rams to upset the Saints in Matthew Stafford's comeback game. The Rams win this game. Give the Rams to win this game. And if the spread is still in favor of the Saints, give the Rams to beat that 4.5-point spread. I will update the spread as I see it. I'll take the Rams at minus 2.5. Anything other than that, I would take the Saints to cover that spread. Going to Atlanta, the Falcons, 3.5-point favorites against the Bears. Justin Fields playing a lot better, at least with his legs, over the last few weeks. Can he get a complete game in there, right? Can he complete a game? I'm not sure. I think the Bears are playing better as the season has gone on. I think they're competitive, and I think they can cover a 3.5-point spread. Maybe lose by a field goal in Atlanta. Give me the Falcons to win this game. I like what the Falcons are doing. Marcus Mariota is playing better than he has ever in his career. So good for Mariota, good for the Falcons. They are right there still with the Buccaneers. Now, they lost last week. Buccaneers won, so I think the Buccaneers gained a game on them last week. But they're still right there in the NFC North. The NFC South. The Falcons to win this game. Give me the Bears to cover a 3.5-point spread. Then we got our game. And again, I will be live at 12:30 as long as the game is still at 1 o'clock. I'll be live half hour before kickoff of the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Cleveland Browns. And guys, this is beginning to scare me, right? So they're calling for a whole bunch of snow in Buffalo between tonight, which I'm filming this on Wednesday night, and Sunday. So that's obviously very concerning if you are a fan of either of these teams, but mostly I think of the Buffalo Bills, because that means if there's a lot of snow during this game, it's gonna be a lot like the game in 2017 where the Bills played against the Colts, right? And a lot of you would remember that game as the LaShawn McCoy game. LaShawn McCoy winning the game in overtime for the Buffalo Bills. However, when you think about running the ball, protecting the ball, and kind of giving your team the best chance to win in the running attack, who do you trust more, Nick Chubb or Devin Singletary and Josh Allen? I'm going with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, mostly consistent when it comes to not turning the ball over. Nick Chubb, you're getting good yards. Nick Chubb knows how to find the end zone. Think about Josh Allen, Devin Singletary. How many turnovers have they had over the past 2 weeks? Now, the good thing about the Buffalo Bills is you look at that backfield. Remember, they had 6 running backs on the roster last week. They could do the same thing this week. You talk about Nyheim Hines. You talk about Cook. You talk about Tawan Jones, who mostly plays special teams, of course. But you can talk about Devin Singletary as well. Can definitely add something, maybe even if you bring in Williams in there as well. Can definitely add a little bit more to that running attack. But I still like Nick Chubb, probably one of the best running backs in the game. Now, the Buffalo Bills are 8-point favorites. Given the fact that they should be playing or might be playing in a snowstorm, give me the under in this game all day. But give me the Cleveland Browns to cover an 8-point spread. The Bills win this one. They need to. 2-game losing streak. They need to win this game. They need to prove they're still the best team in the AFC East. Give me the Browns to cover that spread of 8 points just because I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. But give me the Bills to win this one. The Commanders go into Houston after beating the last undefeated team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, on Monday night and play a Houston Texans team who is struggling mightily. The Texans 3.5-point underdogs at home, and as well they should be. The Commanders getting back to their winning ways. I think they're at 500 now. Maybe they're a game back of 500. Really good division. The NFC and AFC East, both really good divisions this season. I think the Commanders get this victory here. I think this game might be close, but give me the Commanders to win this game. Give the Commanders on the road to cover a 3.5-point spread. Two teams coming off the bye. We talked about the East. Now let's go to AFC. The New England Patriots at home going on to the New York Jets. And listen, I think by now, every person who follows the NFL closely has learned or has heard about this coin flip thing, right? Where someone coin flipped the Jets season record. And so far, as of 10 weeks, they are 100% accurate. That coin has the Jets going into Foxborough and beating the Patriots. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. This is the first week. I think the coin's going to be wrong. I think that the Patriots, I did think that the coin was going to be wrong 2 weeks ago. It turned out it wasn't. The Bills lost to the Jets. But I think Bill Belichick, the Patriots coming off a bye, Bill Belichick's record coming off a bye, very good. Look it up. It's very good. Now, I don't know about this offense, Mac Jones. I'm not sure what they can do on offense all the time. But I don't think they're going to need to do all that much because I look at the other side of the ball, and that New England Patriots defense is a very scary unit to go up against for Zach Wilson, for this Jets offense. Run the ball, yeah, the Jets can do that well. New England can defend the run very well. Again, I like Bill Belichick in this situation. Give me Bill Belichick coming off the bye. The Patriots win this game. However, give me the Jets to keep this one close. Guys, if I had enough guts to do this, I would say that this one's going to land on the number. I think this is a 3-point game, 24-21, something like that. Give the Patriots to win this game, but I'm going to take the Jets to cover a 3-point spread. I'm not going to say it's going to land on the number, but I would not be surprised if this game landed exactly on the number. Going to, we just talked about the Jets playing on New Jersey. Now we're going to New Jersey, where the New York Football Giants, again, nipping at the heels of the Philadelphia Eagles, go up against the Detroit Lions. The Giants 3-point favorites in this one. The Lions coming off that big upset, someone call it upset win over the Bears last week. I like the Giants. The Giants just finding ways to win. As a Bills fan, cheering for Brian Dable, of course. You got Saquon Barkley looking pretty good. Daniel Jones being athletic enough to get the job done, right? Finding first downs when he has to, finding receivers. We all know the Giants don't have good wide receivers, right? But they're able to get the job done. And I think they do that here. The Giants win this game, continue to nip at the heels of the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Giants cover that 3-point spread. The last of the 1 o'clock games takes us to Baltimore for the biggest spread, the biggest one-sided matchup of the weekend, where the Baltimore Ravens are at home to play against the Carolina Panthers. Listen, we all know what the Carolina Panthers are doing, kind of tanking a little bit, right? As soon as they traded Christian McCaffrey for all those draft picks, they traded Anderson, got some more draft picks. We know what they're doing. It's no surprise. So to see the Ravens as 13-point favorites in this one, no surprise either. We can see what Lamar Jackson's offense is capable of, but this offense likes to hold on to the ball, likes to make long drives, right? Run the ball effectively, use their tight ends, even though Mark Andrews has been absent the past few weeks. But I like the Ravens, obviously, to win this game against just the Panthers team that isn't currently up to snuff, right? They're just not a good team. That's the bottom line. And normally I would say I don't like double-digit spreads, but in this situation against a hungry Baltimore Ravens team who knows they got Cincinnati breathing down their necks, the team that represented the AFC last year in the Super Bowl, give me the Ravens not only to win this game, but to cover the spread. 2 touchdowns, I think they have it covered. So Ravens win, Ravens cover a 13-point spread. Going to Denver as we start the 4 o'clock slate of games with the Denver Broncos at home in an AFC West matchup, an AFC West rivalry game against the Las Vegas Raiders, two teams who have really disappointed this year. We thought that Russ Wilson maybe I'll make that Denver Broncos team really good and maybe even contend for an AFC West title. We thought the Las Vegas Raiders, with the addition of Adams and Khalil Mack and just Khalil Mack's at the Chargers, but just a really good team over there in Las Vegas. We thought they would be better. Hasn't worked out for them. So this is a game between two teams who wish their seasons were better. Who just wish their seasons were better. That's all. The Broncos are favored at home by 2.5 points. And if you follow the show at all, you know how I feel about the Broncos' home field advantage. I think out of all the stadiums in the NFL, the Broncos have the biggest home field advantage that might be overtaken by Miami playing in the summer at home, but during that heat. But I think for a full season, you give me the Denver Broncos at home with that air quality. They're kind of used to it because they train in it, where the other teams are not. So even though the Denver Broncos haven't played that well this season, I still think they have the best home field advantage when it comes to weather and where their stadium is located. As far as fan bases, I don't think they're up to snuff with some of the other fan bases in the league. But give me the Broncos to win this game. Again, favored by 2.5. I think this is a nail-biter. I think this is a nail-biter game. Both teams need a victory to prove that they do have something more in the tank and that this season is a complete wash. Now, for the Raiders, it might already be too late. But for the Broncos, they could still get a winning streak going. If Russ starts playing like the Russ that we remember from 2018, 2017, they definitely get a winning streak going and be dangerous and potentially make the playoffs. Give me the Broncos to win this game, but like I said, a nail-biter. I know it's only 2.5 points, but give me the Raiders to cover the spread. Maybe a 1-point game coming out to the wire. Should be a fun one to watch. Going now to the AFC North, another divisional matchup. The Steelers are at home, 4-point underdogs against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's rare that the Steelers are at home and are underdogs. That doesn't happen that much, especially in the Mike Tomlin era. He's got to get used to a lot of things this season, and being an underdog at home this season is one of them. But we've seen the Steelers pull off some impressive wins this season. The Saints last week, right? That was an impressive win against Tampa Bay earlier in the season. That was an impressive win at home. Both those games at home. So playing in Pittsburgh, definitely a little bit different, right? Definitely a bit different. But who's going to know that better than another AFC North opponent in the Cincinnati Bengals? And listen, Cincy is beginning to hit that stride, right? And they know they have the Baltimore Ravens to catch up to, and they know they have them down the road. But they know they are coming into Pittsburgh playing a wounded Mike Tomlin Pittsburgh Steelers team. Fitzpatrick was out last week. TJ Watt just came back. And this team just isn't that good. You look at the offensive side of the ball, just not where you want to be if you want to be a prolific offense in the NFL. The Cincinnati Bengals, on the other hand, really good on defense, solid on defense. And you look at that offense, right? Joe Burrow-led offense. Joe Mixon had a game a couple weeks ago with 5 touchdowns. I'm just saying, run the ball a little bit, get that run game going against a decent Steelers defense, but that front seven is suspect. So get the ball moving a little bit, run the ball, and then use wide receivers. You have a great set of wide receivers. Use them to make plays down the field. The Bengals win this game. The Bengals cover that 4-point spread. The last of the 4 o'clock games, this should be a good one. The Cowboys coming off a loss to the Green Bay Packers in America's Game of the Week last week. So everyone was watching that game going into Minnesota. You want to talk about games of the week? This was the game of the year. Minnesota Vikings come back last week to beat the Buffalo Bills in overtime. Crazy game. If you were part of that stream last week, you know how crazy I was going. But they're on an all-time high going back to Minnesota, where they're 1.5-point underdogs against this Dallas Cowboys team. There's nothing really to say here, right? The Vikings are coming off a really impressive victory against many thought was Super Bowl favorites going into the season. I think that they're just going to ride that high, right? You got James Cook. You got Justin Jefferson, who the Buffalo Bills just could not stop. You have Adam Thielen on the outside. You have T.J. Hockenson now at tight end. And you have Kirk Cousins. Now, this is a 4 o'clock game. This might be more like a primetime game for Kirk Cousins. So you could see dark side Kirk come out. We'll see what happens. But I like the Vikings in this matchup. Give me the Vikings to win this game. The Vikings beat a 1.5-point spread. Moving to Sunday Night Football. Some great divisional matchups this week, and this is one of them. The Kansas City Chiefs go on the road playing the Los Angeles Chargers. Week 2 of the NFL season, these two played on Thursday Night Football, and it was the best Thursday Night Football game by far so far this season. Not much competition there, but this was a great Thursday Night Football game in Week 2. Let's see what these two teams can bring us in Week 11. The Chargers had a good shot to win that game last week. Now, injuries have hurt the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers, right? Not San Diego anymore. Los Angeles Chargers. But the Chargers know how important this matchup is if they have aspirations of winning the AFC West. The Chiefs have looked really good over the last few weeks, right? Beat the Jaguars by 10 points last week. Have been really looking good ever since that loss to Buffalo. But I like the Chargers at +6 especially. I like the Chargers to at least cover the spread. But I like the Chargers to win this game outright. Justin Herbert has beaten Patrick Mahomes, 2-3 times in his career already. He knows he can get the job done in LA. This is going to be a huge matchup. I expect a lot of Kansas City fans. I expect a lot of LA fans. Should be a lot of fun to watch. I'm looking forward to it. Maybe the best Sunday Night Football game of the season. I'm pretty sure this game actually got flexed as well. Give me the Chargers to win it outright. The Chargers upset the Chiefs as 6-point underdogs. Then you go Monday Night Football, another divisional matchup. So you look at the slate of games right here, and you're looking at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divisional matchups, but 4 of them are in the 4 o'clock slate on Sunday or later. So a lot of fun. Give me the 49ers and Cardinals on Monday Night Football. The Cardinals 8-point underdogs. The Cardinals are a fun team to watch. Sometimes D-Hop back has really helped them out, but they just can't. They don't have that it factor. Maybe it's Kyler Murray. Maybe it's Shanahan on the sideline. I have no idea. But Shanahan's on the sideline. Shanahan's on the sideline of the 49ers. So, but either way, the Cardinals cannot get the job done. But I like them to cover an 8-point spread. You look at the 49ers, the other side of the ball. I think beating the Chargers on Sunday Night Football last week, I think this team is ready. Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the 49ers. Give the 49ers to win this game, but give the Cardinals to cover an 8-point spread on Monday Night Football. A lot of fun games. Let me know in the comment section which one you're most looking forward to. If I'm not being biased here, I would have to say the Chiefs-Chargers game is the one that I'm most looking forward to on Sunday Night Football. Obviously, the Bills game is huge for the Bills. 2 losses in a row. Got to get back to winning ways. And again, I'll be live half hour before kickoff. As of right now, it's still listed as a 1 o'clock game, which means I'll be live at 12:30. If the time changes, if the day changes, I'll be live half hour before kickoff, as long as I can be, right? My biggest fear is that it's moved to like Monday at 5 p.m., in which case I'll be at work. Won't be able to join you guys for that one. But as long as the game's on Sunday, whatever time it is, I'll be able to join you half hour before kickoff. Make sure you stop by, hang out with me for a little bit at least, watch the game, enjoy me going crazy if I have to, or enjoy another Buffalo Bills victory. Those are my picks. I'm going to go through them again straight up. Titans, Eagles, Rams, Falcons, Bills, Commanders, Patriots, Giants, Ravens, Broncos, Bengals, Vikings, Chargers, 49ers. Against the spread, Titans, Eagles, and again, that Rams game. Just saw Matthew Stafford is a go for this Sunday. Not sure how that changed the spread. As long as the Rams are 2.5-point favorites or less, or still underdogs, I'll take the Rams to cover the spread. Bears, Browns, Commanders, Jets, Giants, Ravens, Raiders, Bengals, Vikings, Chargers. And on Monday night, I got the Cardinals covering that 8-point spread. Those are my picks. Again, let me know your picks in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining me all year long. If you haven't done your ESPN Pick'em League before the game start on Thursday, make sure you go to ESPN Pick'em, select hashtag sports or search hashtag sports. If you haven't already joined Pick'em League, you can still join. It's always a good time. Spin, I'm going to catch you. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.
Hello, fellow Bills fans. Sean Rogers, Realtor and lead of the Mr. Rogers Homes team. Did you know that real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth, and right now is one of the best times to own an investment property in Arizona? Please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions so we can take the next step to your financial freedom. here in the Valley of the Sun utilizing real estate. As always, God bless America and go Buffalo!